In this video, I'm just going to show you how to batch process gut output maps using R. I think it's pretty annoying to try, when you do a ton of gut runs, to open up ArcMap and try to symbolize everything, and it takes forever, and then get it all in the same format. So anyway, this script will just run through lots of gut runs and print a readable map. So you could verify or look at the data and see if you like it or not. The script is housed in the PyGut on Riverscapes under R scripts, and then supporting tools, R scripts, GU summary, and then it's this makeGutmaps.r. So I put that in a local directory on my computer, and then I opened up in RStudio. And if you are unfamiliar with RStudio, it's free and you can download it. RStudio is just the kind of GUI or the platform that I use to run R. And so I have pulled up makeGutmaps.r in RStudio. And hopefully I did an okay job explaining all the variables and things in here for you to be able to use. But basically this script it's just basically a function, and you should probably keep everything edited out, commented out of this function. And then I have an example script at the bottom that you can use to actually run the function. And and then I explain all the different variables in the function up here. What you need to do is probably just copy the example script and paste it in a new file, and then you'll uncomment, I guess I could have just uncommented the whole thing, but uncomment the actual scripty part. And then you have first you're going to source the makeGutmaps to your source that you're going to basically like tell R that what it is. So we're going to source the function file, and then you should, if it works, you should see over here your global environment. If you're in RStudio, the makeGutmap is the function and it's reading it. And then what you need to do is basically create a list of all of your gut runs. I have done it using this little call, but you can do it in a lot of different ways. And what I'm going to show you what I mean by a file path to your gut run. So at some point in your gut, you probably have a folder that got created that has all of your shapefile outputs for your tier 2 and tier 3. So I need a list of all the runs of all of these file paths that you want to plot. Or so I did that by setting this base data path, and that data path goes to, so I have this run folder which has that output in it, but up in my file tree I have this visit data folder that has all my different visits, and within each of the visits it has a gut folder and has the gut output folders, and within that's the run folder. So this is my data path, and then I ran this gut run list, which basically lists all the directories in that data path, and then it pulled out run 1, which is the one I wanted to map. So again, there's a lot of different ways to create this gut run list, but I'll show you what it kind of looks like down in the console here. So if I do gut run list, I'm going to just look at the top of it so we're not loading it all. It looks like this. So it's going to create one map for each of these, and it'll automatically name them based on this last element of the path, which is your run name. Okay, so the next thing what you want to do is define where you want your maps to go. So I have a folder here, and I'm actually going to change a couple things. Plot it with the, I have a, let's do tier 2. So yeah, I'm putting all my output maps in here. So I have this folder called tier 2, and I'm gonna run, and I want it to plot. I'll go back to that run folder. From the outputs, run 1. This layer file, you can select any of your shapefile outputs in here. Actually, I don't think I have it mapping tier 1 right now, but that would be easy to add, and I should probably do it. But for right now, just tier 2 or tier 3. And so I'm going to basically map this tier 2 in channel layer. And so that's what I put here. You can run one map at a time by, just running one line of this code, or just make gut maps and then adding all your variables and setting a gut path. You could specify I to be a number on this list, or just you could put in your path name directly there. But the power of this is really just to make a lot of maps at once. So I'm going to have it run through the list, and it'll make a map for each one on this list. So you can choose to have it do and plot a number of different things. You want to plot the Thalweg layer, you'll want to set this to true. And that kind of relies on the naming conventions in Gut for what a Thalweg layer is named. So you make sure if you have unconventional names, you need to edit the function, or you need to set this to false, and it won't plot the Thalweg. I actually have another Thalwegs layer where I plot like multiple Thalwegs, so you can also have it do that, but I'm going to say false. Plot contour, it's going to look in the evidence folders and plot the contour file. So if you want to plot the contours, you want to put true. Overlay path, you can specify a path to like an overlay shapefile, such as fish modeling output, or a point file, or a line file of some sort that you want, or polygon file, anything really that you want to plot on top of the gut output. I don't have a overlay path, and you would actually want this to be a list that corresponds exactly to your gut run list if you were running through a list. Put NA, and then you can specify the file type. I have a PDF. I already did those, and I'm just gonna plot some images so I can bring them into Word. So we'll put TIFF. You can also do a PNG and JPEG, but they don't like come out as well. The last two variables here are kind of important. Extract ID, you can set to false, and these will do nothing. But if you want the title of your maps to be a certain, like you have a unique identifier for each item in your list, this is where, and your file names for each of your file, this is where you would do it. Otherwise, if they all have the, like for example, mine, it will automatically just name it off of the run on the tail end here. But the problem with that for me is that all my runs are named the same, so it would basically just overwrite the file to the same file instead of, then I'd have one file instead of like 112. So I need to make sure that there's a unique identifier, and so what this will do is it will take an element of your file path name, and it will put that element of the file path name into your title and your file and your map file name. So it tells you which item in your file path to pull. So in this case, I said the fifth, because from the fifth from the end is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my unique identifier for each of my runs. It has the option, maybe sometimes your file path, one of these isn't unique, but you have two file paths that when together they're kind of unique. So I have an option that you could have it put in a second, a second element, and I don't really care to do that, so I put false there. But I think that's good, so we can probably just run it. Let me just rerun these two things, make sure they're correct. Tier 2, yep. And then in R, I like to highlight stuff, and then I'll go Control R to like quickly, or put it, oops, I do, okay. And now it's running. This usually kind of takes a while, so I'm gonna pause the video. Okay, so it finished running. Usually there's like these warnings, but don't. It's actually not a big deal. So, okay, so we're gonna go look at them, I guess. So what we just plotted was the tier 2 TIFFs. I had already done the PDFs earlier, so it's all of these files. Woo! We did it! So if we want to look at one, sometimes I like the TIFFs sometimes because if you go like this, the PDFs, it's kind of hard to see, but there they all are. So that looks pretty good. We can, I don't know, look at one, we can check one out. There's the contours and the gut output. We got I don't know, you can see all the pools and the bars and the riffles. This is just tier 2. So yeah, looks nice. You could bring that into Illustrator and make it look nicer. It does. So this is what I'm talking about. I pulled out that part of the file path name, and so it's right here, and it still pulls that it's run 1 or whatever the run number is. So yeah, that's that. It also has that same name here, so it's easy to find. Yeah, I think one thing the script will do, even if it's happened in my tier 3 run. So if you don't have data, or some reason the gut data is weird or wonky or it doesn't run, what's going to happen is it's going to plot a blank. So you'll see it in your file path as like a blank file. But it'll still have the same name, so you'll know if there's any issues, so you go back and try to figure out why that particular one isn't running. Maybe there's some data missing or something like that. So that's typically something just good to know, that there'll be a placeholder if something didn't run on your list, so that you're aware something screwy happened. And yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's nice and quick and easy, and it's a great way to look at the data really quickly. So hopefully that works for you. Yeah, have fun with making that happen.